Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm looking at wisdom in Proverbs. So the book of Proverbs was written by Solomon, who is the son of King David. Proverbs was written to the Israelites to show how godly wisdom merges with real life. God gave us more than just the law and the prophets. He gave us wisdom and wise counsel. There's wise counsel spread throughout the whole Bible, and we are blessed to have a few books, such as Job and Proverbs and Ecclesiastes, that have a strong focus on wisdom. Wisdom is a prominent theme in the book of Proverbs, which is highlighted by the verse in chapter 1, verse 7, which reads, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." Proverbs is a gospel book because it is a part of the Bible, sharing about the good news, grace for sinners, hope for failures, and wisdom for the unwise. Jesus is our priest and our prophet, but in the book of Proverbs, we encounter Jesus as our counselor and our mentor. Wisdom should affect every area of one's life, but how does one infuse godly wisdom into every aspect of their lives? God, through Solomon and other biblical writers, teach us as readers that what wisdom is, how to live with godly wisdom, and the rewards and benefits of choosing wisdom in our lives. So the definition of wisdom. Biblical wisdom is more than a proverb written on a fortune cookie. The Hebrew concept of wisdom embodies all the ethical and social abilities that distinguish the wise person from the fool or the unrighteous. There was a large emphasis upon wisdom being displayed through excellence, right and wrong, and everyday life activities. In the book of Proverbs, wisdom enables the believer to know how to condition himself towards other people and make the most of spiritual opportunities. Wisdom, as used in the Bible, refers to the knowledge of all good things and to a relationship with sound ethics in all learning. Wisdom is not just for the young or the inexperienced. As young people advance in learning and in skill, they are encouraged to never stop in their pursuit of wisdom and greater knowledge. There are endless opportunities to learn and develop a new skill. Even adults or grandparents don't know everything. There is always room to learn and grow. God's wisdom is designed to give the child of God a knowledge, enabling him or her to live life in its highest and best possible sense. Wisdom is more than brains, morals, skill, or expertise. Wisdom understands how to achieve success, beautiful results, and how real life can work well. For example, wisdom knows better than to just walk onto a football field and hope that you're going to win the game somehow. Wisdom draws up a game plan that will score more touchdowns than the opposing team. Football players don't run around chaotically and hope to win the game. There's a lot of practice and preparation and training and study that they go through before stepping onto the football field. In one's pursuit of God, they begin to understand the benefits and reap the rewards of godly wisdom and a godly lifestyle. The book of Proverbs begins by sharing with its readers the purpose and the theme of the book. In Proverbs 1 verse 7, it says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." This verse is the motto of the wisdom writings in general. Everyone needs a new beginning with God, and the fear of the Lord is a doorway and a pathway where one can begin afresh with God. The phrase, "the fear of the Lord," is another way of showing respect, reverence, honor to the Lord. This wonderful fear of the Lord is where we begin our journey into knowledge and deeper godly wisdom. The purpose of Proverbs is found at the beginning of the book in chapter 1, verse 1 to 6. So in verse 2, it shares that the Proverbs are for gaining wisdom and instruction. Together, These two terms, wisdom and instruction, can be summed up as discipline. Wisdom will be hard-won. It requires action and study to gain a more full picture of God and a godly lifestyle. The second part of verse 2 says, for understanding words of insight. Insight means the non-obvious can become obvious to you, whereas the immature might not see what you are seeing. An example of insight can be seen from Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. Sherlock would take one look at a client and, for example, know 19 different things about him, whereas Watson would look at the same person and notice very few of those things. Watson does not have the same insight that Holmes had. Continuing on, in verse 3 of chapter 1, is written from the learner's point of view. It says, for receiving instruction. Receiving is the key that unlocks the door to deeper knowledge and wisdom. When one receives wisdom from God, a change begins to take place in their life. Written from the teacher's point of view, verse 4 shares a few benefits that one gains from wisdom. These benefits include prudence, knowledge, and discretion. When one receives wisdom, skill and good judgment abound. Based on knowledge, one can adjust their lifestyle and begin to thrive. And discernment is used throughout daily life and decisions that are to be made. Throughout the book of Proverbs, wisdom is personified, being described as a woman. Personifying wisdom is not merely a literary device. It is a reflection of the essential nature of biblical wisdom. Wisdom is first seen calling aloud in a public square and making an appeal at the city gate. We see this in Proverbs 1, verse 20 to 21. Wisdom is not a secret knowledge. It is for everyone equally if they choose to search for it. In Proverbs, wisdom offers her advice in the public places, in the ordinary places where people live their lives, build their relationships, learn their skills. There, God's wisdom can be heard. Now, in the whole passage in chapter 1, verses 20 to 33, wisdom is revealed as brave, passionate, and has something very serious to say. There's a choice to be made. Live in the way of folly or in the way of wisdom. Whoever listens to wisdom will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm. That's in verse 33 of chapter 1. So this does not mean that one will have a comfortable life when they follow God, but their life will be marked with God's favor despite the circumstances that they encounter. Proverbs 2 reveals that wisdom needs to be searched for. Searching is an action, so that there are actions that need to be taken. Wisdom is not something that one just receives and then life is all uphill from there. It requires action on the part of the person who receives it. Wisdom is portrayed not only as one who discloses God's presence in the world, but as one who sometimes hides and her treasure needs to be searched for. In Proverbs 2, verse 1, it says, "My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you." This verse shares of a young person who is told to accept the teacher's words and store the commands within. Now, following verse 1, in verse 2, it continues saying, "Turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding." In verse 2, the young person listens by turning his ear to wisdom and applying his heart to understanding. Continuing on in verse 3, it says, "Indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding." Verse 3 shares about calling out for insight. Wisdom is to be sought after through looking for a precious treasure that was hidden. The wisdom of the word will help us recognize to a limited degree the awesomeness of God. Proverbs is full of these type of action words. These words tell the readers what to do in order to seek and hear wisdom. When hearing wisdom, one is really hearing God. The hearers are called to discern God's presence in the world and give attention to it, not only in the special times of when God is, so to speak, public, but at all times, even when God seems to be hidden. In Proverbs 8, verse 17, it says, "I love those who love me, and those who seek me find me." Wisdom's offer is universal, and if any miss out on her gifts, it is because they did not seek her. Wisdom loves all who seek her and love her. Some of the rewards and benefits. So when wisdom is a part of someone's everyday life, it begins to change them from the inside out. Within Proverbs, Solomon writes about many different benefits and rewards of pursuing godly wisdom in daily life. Wisdom can satisfy every area of one's life. Every action and word we speak should be done through the lenses of godly wisdom. Wisdom in people's lives preserves them from violence, brings peace of consciousness, improves them financially, brings health to marriages, accomplishes goals, protects us from falling into temptation, and opens our eyes to the joyous creation in which we live. Proverbs 4, verse 5 to 9 says, "Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget my words or turn away from them. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it costs all you have, get understanding. Cherish her, and she will exalt you. Embrace her, and she will honor you. She will give you a garland to grace your head and present you with a glorious crown." This passage suggests that those who give wisdom a place in their life will not only receive wisdom, but protection, exaltation, honor, and a victor's crown. Those who seek wisdom find life and begin to thrive with God as the Lord of their whole lives. Wisdom will become a lifelong companion for those who seek it. Proverbs, and the Bible in general, is not a quick fix-all book. Life is a journey, and the book of Proverbs, as well as the whole Bible, is offered to all travelers along the road of life. We need not drift aimlessly through the currents of man's speculations for those who seek it. The wisdom of God is applicable to all life's problems. Godly wisdom should pour into every area of one's life. Solomon shows readers what wisdom is and how godly wisdom affects every area of one's life. God coaches us in the wisdom we need throughout the long and complicated path of our everyday lives. If we have many adventures in life, but not wisdom, what if we have many adventures in life, but not wisdom? Wisdom is the grace of Christ, beautifying our daily lives.